So we are going to go on a little trip to Cincinnati because I bought something. No, I didn't buy a car. I bought a piece of equipment for the shop here. Well, we're getting loaded up. We're going to head on down there and we'll show you what we bought when we get down there. So since we are in Cincinnati, we decided to take a little bit of a side quest, if you will, to go to Jungle Gyms. I have not been in this place for probably 15 years, and it does change relatively often. So, yeah, if you've never heard of this place, it's kind of a destination in Cincinnati. It's a big grocery store, but it's very much themed. So it's just a nice fun place to be shopping at. You could literally come in here and get lost for a couple of hours just looking at everything, especially if you've never been here before. So it's an international market. Pretty much anything you can find is going to be in here. They got old amusement rides. They got a monorail out front. So every department in this thing has some sort of a themed thing to it. Now this is actually the original building from their farm market that they dismantled and brought in here into the building here. And this is the personal, like, you know, shampoos, all that stuff, personal care stuff. They started in 1971, and this is the original building from 74. And they still have the Campbell's soup can that was here, I don't know, 15, 18 years ago, last time I was here. And there at Deli, they got the boar's head truck. Just everything about this place is themed like that. When we get to the hot sauce section, they used to have a fire truck on top of that, and we'll see if they still do. So yeah, they got stuff here from pretty much every country, international, like beers and stuff you probably wouldn't see anywhere else, and coffees and hot sauces and pretty much anything else you can think of. And even the bathrooms are themed. Those are the entrances to the bathrooms. So they do make it nice and fun here. There's the old bumper cars here in the candy section. And animated Elvis. I believe that came out of an old Chuck E. Cheese's. That's what they do a lot of. They tend to buy stuff from places that taking things like this out and then they recondition them and put them in. That's kind of been how they started doing all this to start with. And they got a cooking school here too, where they actually do cooking classes. And then even the movie, you know, back when I first came here, this was like interesting to see all the movie theater stuff, which now you see it in a lot of places. But then they do the whole movie theme here. I have a horse and buggy up there over the Amish foods. There's the other side of the, well, the Amish, specific Amish farm brand stuff there, but then they go on into more antiques just to go along with that theme. We got, you know, meats from around the world. They even have the SS Minnow here and the seafood section. The seafood section is just on the other side of it. Now this place has changed a lot between my somewhat vague memory and the amount they changed it. I've actually been lost through the first part of the store here. And now you start getting into like all the international foods. So yeah, you got a rickshaw in here. We're in the Asian food section. All kinds of interesting stuff around here. So if you're ever in Cincinnati, This location is the north end of Cincinnati, and they do have a new location, I guess, on the south end that's not quite as big. When they say jumbo lobster, they mean jumbo lobster. Things are pretty good size. So they have a whole bunch of live seafood here, and you can just pick out which ones you want. And they actually have big old tanks somewhere. If I remember where they're at, we'll go back and look at those too. And they have interesting little displays like this with an anchor and some replicas of shells. I don't know if they're replicas or not, but probably are. It's just some information about the old guns that they used to shoot these things. They have like a whole fisherman's wharf on top of here. I do not remember that being here last time I was here. This thing has changed quite a bit, so even if you've been here before, not a bad idea to come again because it does change. And now they have pop here, international pop. Everything you can think of, pretty much, from all over the world. So if you're a connoisseur of all the interesting pops, like sweet corn and butter and peanut butter and jelly, all that stuff you see on YouTube, people taste testing, they've got all of it here. Cookie dough, bacon. I don't know if I want to try that or not, but yeah. If they make it, you will probably find it here. It keeps going and going and going. We got food from France and Greece, kosher, Canada, Portugal, Spain, Scandinavia. They're always changing things, so we're going to be doing something new over here. And oh, they're going to put some of the international stuff, so France and various stuff down through here. And then they got this corner here, which is a mini movie theater, where you can sit in here and they have a loop story of the story of Jungle Jim, from where they began to where they are now. And this is something that's definitely new since I've been here last. It's like an Italian section here. There's a African section there. Back in this corner, back then was done up as Sherwood Forest. It doesn't look like it is anymore. We'll see when we get back there. So they got an India and Nepal over here. And here is the old Sherwood Forest. It is still here. And they still have the tuk-tuk that here. I think it's not in the same place it used to be, but it's still here. So here's the hot sauce display. They still do have that. I would say pretty much if there's a hot sauce in the world that's available, they probably have it. And hot spices and stuff down through the middle. And more on this side. They even have one whole section that's just the world of ramen. It's all different ramen soups from Korea, China, Philippines, Thailand, Japan. And then here's the big tanks of live fish. Let's go on up there and take a look. Last time I was here, these tanks were a little bit bigger and they weren't netted over like this. I guess they've learned that people drop stuff in them, so you can't do that anymore, or health concerns, health department. But all these are all full of live fish and lobsters that they then transfer up to the seafood department when they need more. So here's a good overview of this area of the store, which is really just the international food section only. So in addition to the pop aisle, they also have, every big section also has their own section here of pops and drinks from those areas of the world. So we're done shopping here. We've done spent enough time in here. time to move on to what we actually came down here for. This is the exit. Place has changed quite a bit since I was here last. So here's our real destination, Northern Tools and Equipment. That's right, this time I'm actually buying something new rather than used. So here it is. We bought ourselves a 52-inch 16-gauge shear. Now we just got to figure out how to strap this thing down properly so it stays for the 130-mile trip home. That isn't the best crate in the world. So we got the shear back to the shop, and after I had a friend of mine come over, I fixed the power window motor on his wife's car, and then he helped me get this thing unloaded. We now got it off the trailer, and temporarily we just got it on these car dollies right now because I can't exactly put this thing where I want it at the moment. I got to move a few things around. So I haven't finished assembling it yet, but it appears like everything's there, nothing's damaged, we should be good there. Now this is not one of the higher end ones. This is kind of the low end, cheaper ones for what we're getting here. These things generally will sell somewhere in the $2,200 to $2,500 range. Now I found a really good buy on this thing. I've been thinking about buying one of these for quite some time now, and I've been looking on the used market for a long time, and every time I come up with something that looks like a pretty decent deal, it's always like a 30-inch or smaller, and that's, at the end of the day, not going to end up working for me. Or it's all rusty, missing parts, so it's actually not a deal. Every time I find one that's actually complete, nice condition, they want so close to retail that I was actually better off to buy this one. Now there is a next step up, better ones that generally sell for around $4,000 that are better castings and better made ones, like Ten Smith and stuff. But you know, I'm just not in the position to spend $4,000 on one of these things right now. So this is what we got. Now, once I do finally get this thing positioned somewhere and get it full assembled, we'll find out just how well it actually works.